Okay, so if you're getting tired of seeing the exact same vacation spots pop up on your feed over and over again, then you've come to the right place. In this explainer, we're diving into a travel guide that's all about finding Britain's best-kept secrets for an amazing summer trip. Let's get into it. Right. It's that time of year. You're starting to daydream about a summer getaway. But what are you picturing? Are you seeing yourself fighting through crowds for a selfie at some huge landmark, or waiting in a massive line for a tourist attraction? What if I told you there's a whole other side to Britain just waiting for you to find it? And that's really the secret this guide is all about. The whole idea is that the most incredible, most unforgettable trips, well, they aren't always the most famous ones. We're about to pull back the curtain on some places you might not have heard of, but trust me, they're absolutely amazing. So what's the big idea here? It's really just about shifting our mindset. Looking past the places everyone and their cousin posts about and finding something a little more real, a little more you. Here's the core of it. Look, the big landmarks are famous for a reason, we get it. But the real magic, the truly enchanting stuff, that's tucked away in these quiet villages, along stunning coastlines, and in these cool cultural spots that just don't get all the hype. So you're probably asking, okay, where are these places? Well, the guide lays out this fantastic roadmap of hidden gems all across the country. So let's do a quick whirlwind tour, just so you can get a feel for the incredible variety we're talking about. First up, let's hit the coast. Forget the overcrowded beaches. Instead, picture this. Bamberg in Northumberland with this absolutely massive, dramatic castle just looming right over the sand. Or how about the classic English seaside town of Southwold in Suffolk? The one with all the iconic, colorful beach huts. And if you want something truly wild and beautiful, you've got the Gower Peninsula in Wales, which was, get this, Britain's first ever designated area of outstanding natural beauty. That's a pretty big deal. More of a countryside person? The guide says, instead of the usual spots, why not check out the storybook villages of the Cotswolds? I mean, come on, those famous honey-colored stone cottages are just unreal. Or for something totally different, you could explore the Norfolk Broads, which is this amazing network of rivers and lakes that you explore by boat. Or hey, grab your hiking boots and head to the Yorkshire Dales, with its rugged hills and those iconic stone walls stretching for miles. And if you want to really get away from it all, the guide points to Britain's islands. You've got the Isles of Scilly, which honestly feel almost tropical with their clear water and green gardens. Then there's the Isle of Arran, which people call Scotland in miniature because it packs both highlands and lowlands into one tiny island. And then you have Lundy Island in Devon, a total wildlife sanctuary with no cars, where you can just hang out with puffins and seals. Every single one feels like a different world. And what about culture, but without all the chaos of a big city? Well, think about a place like Whitstable in Kent, which is famous for its oyster festivals and indie art galleries. Or the super historic, fiercely independent town of Lewes in East Sussex, with its old medieval streets. And way up north, there's the bohemian hub of Hebden Bridge, just tucked into a valley and full of quirky little shops. The variety is just incredible. And the guide uses one town as the perfect example of this whole spirit. So after that quick tour, the guide really zooms in on one town that it says just perfectly captures this vibe of revival and hidden charm. So let's talk about Margate. Margate's huge comeback story is built around this idea of being a modern cultural hub. But what does that even mean? Well, it's all about mixing the old with the new. It's taking that classic, historic seaside town feel and pumping it full of this fresh, modern, creative energy. And you can really see that transformation right here. Margate used to be your traditional Victorian seaside resort, but now it's home to the world-class Turner Contemporary Art Gallery. It's buzzing with independent and vintage shops, and its calendar is just packed with cool summer festivals. I mean, talk about a complete reinvention. And as part of this whole revival, the guide points to the town's accommodation, using this quote to capture the vibe of a place called Unico Hotels. It might seem like a small detail, but it says so much about Margate's new, more stylish identity. And what's really clever is how the hotel itself is part of the story. It's not just, here's a nice place to sleep. No, It's framed as your perfect home base, your launch pad for diving into everything that makes Margate cool: the beach, the art, the comfort. Suddenly, where you stay is part of the adventure itself. Okay, so you're probably feeling inspired and maybe even ready to book a trip to one of these spots. The last part of the guide is all about the practical stuff, the nitty-gritty of how to actually plan the perfect trip. So here are the key tips. First, and this is a game changer, travel midweek if you possibly can. It's the easiest way to dodge the weekend crowds. Second, definitely look into regional rail passes because they can save you a ton of money getting around. And finally, it's all about the timing. The guide recommends June, early July, or September. That's the sweet spot for great weather without the huge summer crowds. So when you boil it all down, the conclusion is pretty simple. When you decide to step off that beaten path and explore places like the ones we've just talked about, you're not just getting a different vacation. You're setting yourself up for an experience that's way more diverse, way more authentic, and honestly, just a lot more memorable. So I'll leave you with this. With all these incredible, overlooked corners of Britain just weeding out there, from rugged coastlines to buzzing little towns, the only real question is, which hidden gem are you going to uncover first?